The Midnight Silk Heist full story. The historic district of Ravenswood had always carried an air of timeless charm. Narrow cobblestone streets wound between old buildings, their brick facades lined with wrought iron balconies and antique lanterns that flickered weakly against the night. But on the evening of September 4th, 2025, the air felt different, heavier. The wind carried an unsettling quiet, as if the city itself was holding its breath. At the edge of the district stood Harrows Silk Textiles, a family-owned shop that had endured for nearly a century. Its ornate wrought iron gates stood tall and imposing, a silent guardian over some of the world's rarest fabrics. Inside its dimly lit showroom lay bolts of silk that shimmered like liquid jewels. Scarlets, golds, indigos, and emeralds, each telling stories of faraway lands. Among them was the crown jewel, the imperial phoenix, a brocade once woven exclusively for royalty. Priceless, irreplaceable, and coveted. The break-in. At 1:17 a.m., the silence broke. A lone figure appeared at the rear entrance of the shop, moving like a shadow among shadows. Dressed head to toe in black, hood drawn tight, he carried himself with the precision of someone who had done this many times before. With practiced ease, he slipped a tool into the lock and popped it open. The back door groaned slightly, but the wind masked its sound. Inside, the thief moved quickly. Surveillance cameras had been disabled hours earlier, sabotaged in a way that suggested inside knowledge. Display cases were opened one by one. Silks were carefully rolled, stacked, and stowed in black bags. But when he reached the imperial phoenix, his hands slowed. He touched it with reverence, as though it were sacred, before gently securing it in its own protective tube. At 2:03 a.m., the front door alarm suddenly blared, shattering the calm. Red lights flashed. Across the street, a barista working the night shift at a 24-hour cafe looked up, startled, and immediately called the police. But by the time officers arrived minutes later, the thief had vanished into the night. The investigation. The following morning, chaos consumed the Harrows family. Evelyn Harrow, the matriarch, clutched her shawl tightly as she watched officers survey the damage. Her son, Thomas, kicked at the floor in frustration, demanding answers. Detective Lillian Mara arrived shortly after dawn. Sharp-eyed and relentless, she studied the scene carefully. "This wasn't random," she muttered. "Someone knew exactly what they wanted." Fingerprints were scarce. The thief had worn latex gloves. But near one display case, a torn scrap of fabric revealed a partial print. Outside, traffic cameras picked up a small blue hatchback parked a few blocks away at the time of the crime. Its license plates had been swapped, suggesting a deliberate cover-up. But it was Thomas Harrow who noticed something strange. "There's a draft," he whispered to Detective Mara, pointing near the back office floorboards. When they pulled up the old wood, they discovered a narrow hidden hatch. Dusty, long forgotten but not untouched. Inside was a passage, and lining the tunnel were scraps of silk, as though someone had been secretly smuggling fabric through there for weeks. The trail. Detective Mara followed the faint trail of golden thread deeper into the passage. At its end, she found two crucial pieces of evidence: a discarded black mask and a half-burnt receipt from an antique dealer in town. The receipt dated only days before the heist. The shopkeeper confirmed that a young man, nervous and in his late 20s, had come by looking for vintage cases that could fit rolled fabric. His description matched the figure on the security footage: height, build, even his left-handed mannerisms. The next breakthrough came online. On a secret forum known to deal in stolen antiquities, a seller had posted a grainy photograph of silk remarkably similar to the imperial phoenix. The border design was unmistakable. Payment demanded? Cryptocurrency. The shipping location? A small P.O. box in the next town. The arrest. On September 10th, a week after the crime, detectives set up surveillance around the P.O. box. Just after dusk, a man arrived, slim, hooded, carrying a cardboard tube. He unlocked the box casually, unaware of the officers watching from across the street. Within seconds, he was surrounded. Inside the tube was one of the missing silks. Under interrogation, the suspect, 28-year-old Adrian Cole, insisted he was merely a collector. He claimed he had no idea the silks were stolen. But the partial fingerprint from Harrows matched his exactly. Cell tower records also placed his phone near the district on the night of the heist. It was undeniable he was the thief. The aftermath. Though Adrian Cole was taken into custody, only a single bolt of silk had been recovered. The rest, including the Imperial Phoenix, remains missing to this day. Detectives now suspect Cole may have had an accomplice who disappeared with the rest of the treasure. The Harrows family, shaken but resilient, have reinforced their security. Motion sensors, reinforced locks, and round-the-clock monitoring. But for Evelyn Harrow, the real wound is emotional. The silks weren't just fabric, she said. They were our legacy, our history, and now part of that is gone. Detective Mara, staring down at the evidence board late into the night, whispered to herself, "This isn't over." And somewhere out there, in the shadows of Ravenswood, the missing silks wait, silent, priceless, and still hidden. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe and share. Comment any new video ideas and I'll review and make a video about it.